you. No pressure. Okay. Good morning. Have you ever thought, when does Mass start? Did you ever have that question of, when does the liturgy begin? Does it begin when the singers start the entrance song? Or maybe it's when Father walks down the aisle and he reverences the altar. Or maybe you're kind of one of those who thought that it's the first reading when that begins. Or maybe you're like Deacon John, who thought a long time ago, if you get into church before the gospel, you're okay. Well, it's none of those. Believe me, it's not. It starts when we as an assembly come together. The very beginning, when you sit down in that pew, our liturgy begins. I looked up the word liturgy, and it's a noun, okay? The definition is the work of the people. Now, I want you to work with me, especially you English majors. You're going to be a little freaked out at this. I want you to think of liturgy as a verb. The work of the people. It's an action. Our liturgy is an action, not just an action with Father, not just an action with Deacon John, not just an action with our musicians, but it's all of our actions. It takes all of us to participate. When we bring up the gifts, right, we're participating. I remember the first time I fell in love with the Mass. I was 13. Okay, yes, I was a church nerd. And I remember sitting in the back of our car, and my dad came out with the director of music, and I thought, oh my God, what has he signed me up for now? And Rick came and stuck his head in the car, and he was so cute. Oh, he was so cute. He became a priest, though, so don't worry about it. Anyway, so he said, your dad said you can sing. Has your dad ever done that to you? Yeah. Your dad said you can sing, and we're going to start a teen ministry of cantors, and I want you to be the first one. And I was like, uh-huh. And he said, we meet on Tuesday nights. Okay, that's when Starsky and Hutch was on. At 7 o'clock, and I'll see you there. We meet for about 2 hours. That was like 2 episodes of Starsky and Hutch. I showed up. I loved it. Yeah, I could sing, okay. When I was in the bathroom, because you get the best acoustics in the bathroom, okay, everybody sounds like an opera singer in the restroom, right? But I was like, I could just rip it out, okay? Well, then when I went to practice, there were all these people looking at me like you are now, and I could just barely get it out. I was, will you let me be a servant? Oh my God, I couldn't do this, I can't do this. But you know what? I went home and I practiced all week. I practiced and I practiced. My mom got so tired of hearing that one psalm, the Lord is my shepherd. She's like, you know what, the Lord really needs to be your shepherd because you're driving me crazy with this. And I got to Mass and I sat there. And I'll never forget, Gracie Benberry was sitting like right there where you are. And I looked over and she gave me a smile and she's like, you can do this. I knocked it out of the park. I was Diana Ross of the Catholic Church. Okay, well maybe not Diana, but pretty close, okay. But you know what? That was when I fell in love with the church, not because I was up front singing and everybody was looking at me. Okay, that made me really nervous. But it was the fact that I was actually participating in the liturgy. I actually had a part. Father depended on me to sing my part at the right time, right? Right? The people depended on me to sing my part at the right time. I want you to have that same love for church. From that little cantering, I ended up being a lector, a Eucharistic minister, an usher, and I probably would have done the priest part if they'd have let me because I pretty much knew it by heart. But I loved it. I loved the music. I loved participating, sharing the precious body and blood of Christ. You know, when we bring up the gifts at offertory, we're bringing up the bread and the wine, but we're also bringing up another gift, ourselves, right? We all have gifts to share, no matter how small. When that bread and wine comes forward and it's presented to the altar and Father consecrates it, it transforms into what? The body, come on, the body and blood of Christ. God will take your little gift and he will transform it as well. A couple weeks ago, I told you about Fulton Sheen and how young people would come up to him and say, I don't get anything out of Mass. And he said, well, what do you put into it? You know, what do you give? I want you to give too. I want you to love the Mass and Ascension Parish as much as I do. I never thought I'd love a parish as much as I do, you guys. I want you to have that same feeling. So if you're ready to step out and step up, see me after Mass, and I'll get you signed up for a ministry, and I promise you, God will transform your life. Amen?